Hi guys, gals, and NBs. I have a new pedal today, and that is the Walrus Audio Slöer. So this is going to be an overview and some sounds that you can make out of it. It's not going to be super in-depth of a video. I really like it. You heard it from the opening. It's super ambient, and unlike the Strymon Brig video, this is not sponsored. If Walrus Audio wants to send me some free pedals to play with and make some videos of, I am more than happy to do that, though. So what is the Slöer? Well, it's the Slow, but in stereo with some more functionality and some pretty cool features that are pretty unique. I mean, one of the major features is you can control the clock speed of the DSP, which will turn it from a fairly bright, still kind of lo-fi delay into an extremely lo-fi delay, and that's one of the reasons I like it. And again, it's super ambient and modulated. Let's stop, or I'm going to stop talking about it, and we're just going to get into it. So I have a patch here. Very simple, very good to see what a different algorithm can do to it in a reverb. But yeah, so let's start with the Dream. The Dream algorithm is supposed to be a modulated reverb. And we have it set to wide stereo. Let's go through the stereo modes. You need to be listening to this in stereo. Medium. And then basically mono. The most boring mode. Turn that width all the way up. It sounds amazing. Alright, sounds like a pretty standard, very boring reverb, but we're not ready for what it can do yet with these settings. So let's just listen to the stretch. The stretch controls your clock speed. So all the way down gives you the longest delay time. So we have in the longest delay time. Decay plays with that too, but we have the decay all the way down. Longest delay time, lowest fidelity. Now we have the shortest delay or decay time, but we have the highest fidelity. It's very bright at this point. Kind of like a plate. And now we're a nice long decay time, and it's extremely lo-fi. And I love it. So yeah, let's hear with, I usually keep the decay right around here. And yeah, we'll turn a little bit of the modulation up. This has two modulations in the Dream mode, which we're in. So we have your standard modulation here, like chorusy vibrato, and then we have another vibrato, so we can go like extreme here. So both of them engage, it's insane. Not very useful, but in Dream, this is how I like to set it. I set it around here on the one of the vibratos, and then the main modulation around here. And I cut the, this is like a low cut filter, by the way, with a little resonance, I think. I mean, I hear resonance. That could just be lo-fi artifacts too from the clock speed being so low. We also have a sustain mode that only works in the Dream algorithm, I believe. So it's latching what's in the buffer, so it's basically just, yeah, playing back what's in the buffer. I don't really like it. The reason being is because it won't reverberate anything else on top of when that's latched. I assume it's because that this pedal doesn't have a very powerful DSP. I mean, it only takes 100 milliamps, so it can't be that much. It's probably a spin semiconductor, the FV1 in it. But yeah, so I don't tend to use that. Not a big loss. It's kind of a loss of a foot switch. I wish you could assign it to something else. But yeah, so lovely algorithm. That's my favorite algorithm on the pedal. and I see using it quite a bit. I think it's in line with the Strymon Cloudburst, which is one of my other favorite reverbs at this point in time. I will use them kind of interchangeably in mixes in the future, I believe. This is darker. This is much more lo-fi, in my opinion. The Strymon is obviously a much higher end pedal in terms of the processing behind it. It is a cheaper pedal, which is surprising, the Cloudburst, but it has that pristine, like very studio feel to it. And this is more of a lo-fi, gritty ambient feel to it. So let's get into one of the other features that's pretty unique on this. The stretch is pretty unique. I think there might be some Alexander effects pedals that have a changeable clock speed in the reverb realm. And obviously the Chase Bliss Mood, the version 2 and the version 1, both have the ability to change the clock speed, which also dictates how gritty the reverb is, so that's cool. But the other feature that's super cool. First, we're going to go into modulation. So you have depth by default. That's this control. If you hold down bypass, let's turn off this vibrato. We're going to turn the depth all the way up. But you also have speed if you hold down bypass and change depth. And you also now have the ability with the mode knob to change the waveform. So you have like ramp waveforms and other things. You have a square waveform. Let's try the square. It's right here. So you hold this and then you see the waveforms. I like random. That's what's really unique. One of the only other pedals that I have right now that has changeable waveforms and includes random would be like the Strymon Night Sky. But yeah, we'll keep it in random for the rest of this. I like it. We'll turn the rate down to around here. We'll turn the depth here. Turn a little bit of the other vibrato up. And that's just fantastically gorgeous. So yeah, I love that mode. It's great. Yeah, not much more to say about Dream. It's fantastic. I have the Fable here. Let's listen to it with the Fable. I have the Fable set to a random pitch mode. You can see the settings. Let's just hear it together. And that's just gorgeous. All right, so let's go to Light. Light is a shimmer reverb with octave up, obviously. When I say shimmer, I generally mean it's octave up. I know some people will refer to shimmer as anything with pitch shifting in the feedback loop in a delay line or in the reverb path. But yeah, so X is we're also going to keep the clock speed at the lowest for the rest of this. Well, maybe not. I take that back. So X is now the amount of shimmer. Filter all the way up. It's a nice shimmer. I'm actually really surprised. But here, we'll hear when we turn the clock speed back up, the shimmer gets quite harsh. Don't like it. Turn the clock speed down. I love it. It's a lovely shimmer. I like shimmer. I'm not one of those people that is against it. I just don't like harsh shimmer. All right, so Light, and then we have Rain. Rain is basically the cloud algorithm. I mean, it's not exactly that. It's not as powerful to really pull it off, but it's a multi-tap delay that turns into a reverb. So X is diffusion, so kind of hear the reverb taps or the delay taps. Turn X all the way up, get more diffusion. let's go to a shorter little pluck here. Here, we can hear the delay taps. Now, high diffusion. Very cool sound. Also like that one. We'll also use that one. And then we have dark, which is octave down. So yeah, we'll go back to... This one's amazing too, obviously. Both the light and the dark mode are great with another pitch shifting in front of it, this time from the Fable. We'll go back to that one. We're going to go back to light and dark with some pads. Go ahead and turn off the Fable so you can just hear the dark. I have trails on, so. Hear that octave down, and it's fantastic. Gorgeous. And then we have Rise, and Rise is kind of like, I don't know, what would you call it? You would call it like an auto swell. It's not that great on a synth. Sure, it's good on a guitar, but not that great on a synth. So. Just not a mode I use. I don't even know what the X does in that. I just don't use it. I don't use auto swells generally. I'm looking at the little sheet that it comes with. Let's look. Let's see what does Rise do. Auto swell. X sets the amount of time it takes out to swell in. Okay, that makes sense. It's fine. Not my thing. It might work for you. Might be better on a guitar. Well, let's go back and let's use a pad. Let's use my favorite, my noise pad. And what we're going to do is we're going to use dark. And we're going to use Fable to add some random pitch jumps. That's just gorgeous. So it sounds really great in dark mode and obviously in the light mode there too. That's just amazing. So yeah, that's my take on the Walrus Audio Slöer, and I really like it. So I did a review when the R1 came out, and I kind of liked it. I stopped liking it after a while because I noticed, and I guess I was a little sick at the time, so I really had a little bit of lapse of hearing, so things were a little muffled, but the R1 had a very high-pitched, like extra harmonics added to everything. I was told it's been fixed in a firmware update. I don't have the R1 anymore to like test that. Hey Walrus, if you want to send me an R1, I'll do a follow-up video where I demo it. I mean, yeah, but whatever. So yeah, it's just a little too harsh for me. That's why I ended up selling it. It still sounds okay. I guess it just has to be with what you throw into it. Now, this, on the other hand, the Slöer, anything you throw into it becomes just like this lo-fi dreamscape. And that's really what I wanted from a pedal. And finally, it's stereo. So yeah, Walrus should make more stereo pedals. I know the Mako series were all stereo, but yeah, this one is very, very good. I like it. It gets my endorsement. I am definitely going to use it. It's a keeper for me. It's just so hard to pick it, that or the Cloudburst. I should do a comparison between the Cloudburst. Do you guys want to see that? If you do, let me know. I think I'm just going to do it anyway, but maybe I can run the Cloudburst or the slower into the Cloudburst to get super ambience. So yeah, that's how I feel these two like compare. This is like close to a Cloudburst or the Strymon Night Sky. It's definitely not as powerful or pristine, but it has the character. It has a lot of ambient character to it. Yeah, so that said, the only really negatives I have about it is it doesn't have MIDI control, and for a pedal that's about $350, it's kind of crazy. Not the end of the world, but it also doesn't have any expression inputs, and it also doesn't have any USB ports or anything, so if I were to find a bug, yeah, it would just not be firmware updatable. I found a bug on the Fable, and I mean, I can demo that right now. I contacted Walrus about it. They were able to do it as well, but it's just unfixable. So if you turn the time all the way up with these settings, for instance, what'll happen is you'll get some extreme, it might not happen, but let's listen. You'll get some extreme modulation. Oh, it's doing it. Almost like the time knob is being turned by itself. You can hear it more on like... There you go. Now, the only remedy to that, it's like the time knob's being turned by somebody, but the only remedy to that is to turn it like right around there and the time. Now you don't get that weird modulation. And the fact that they were able to reproduce that on another pedal, another Fable that they had on hand, then that's a software issue, I'm assuming at this point. So, but the Fable is not firmware updatable, so you're stuck with it. So, I mean, I haven't gotten rid of the Fable. I like it too much. I have to work around that. Luckily, I haven't found anything on the slower yet, but I tend to find things. I don't know what it is about me. I tend to find bugs in pedals. So, but yeah. So the slower's pretty solid right now in terms of the firmware that's shipped with it, which is the only firmware you can get. But I just want to bring that up there. They really should have put USB ports on these things. They should have made them firmware updatable. And then that could have been fixed more than likely. Anyway, yeah, that's my major rant about that. I love the case. I mean, I love the artwork on it. It is absolutely like just gorgeous. It has like this gradient to it. I love the artwork on it. Walrus is really known for their artwork, but it's one of my favorites, so that's a plus. The size is great. Top mounted jacks, that's good for a lot of people. In all, it's one of my favorite little reverb pedals. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy this, how about you subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up?